So today we are going to talk about the culture adjustment. And we've divided our talk into three main parts. I'll explain about the cycle of adjustment. And next, Kay is talk about how different to adjust in the new culture for each person. And thirdly, Yuli will talk about experiences staying in the other countries. And so as I said, first I talk about a circle of adjustment. So here is the diagram, and this diagram shows ups and downs adjusting a new culture. So this here shows how much people adjust the culture, and this here indicates the time. And this diagram has 5 points, so I'll explain that. So first, this is the honeymoon period. And in this period, people are fascinated and excited by everything in the new culture. And interestingly, people may not reach this period again. So honeymoon period is the highest level of duration. And the second term is culture shock. In this period, the individuals meet new problems like housing, transportation, employment, shopping, and language. So people make their effort continuously to understand the new culture and the language. Third one is initial adjustment. Everyday activities such as housing and shopping are not major problems, and the visitors can express their feeling or ideas, even if they may not be fluent yet. And fourthly, this term is the acceptance and mental isolation. In this term, people may feel lonely and miss their family and the good friends. The fifth one is acceptance and integration. A routine has been established in this term. For example, go to work or go to school. The newcomers help become familiarized with their life in the new culture. They feel comfortable with their parents, associates, and the language. So there are 5 points, the circle of the adjustment in the new culture. But of course, this is not about all people. Some people may not meet honeymoon period or culture shock. It depends on. And next, Kate, please.
I'd like to think about the factors which make ease our adjustment with these questions. What's your purpose or length of stay in the new environment? And do you prepare for the new culture? And when in Rome, this is a common saying. And do you have someone to talk? And last one is, how's your financial situation? So please imagine your answers for these questions and imagine that you are in a new country or a new environment. Firstly, the motivation is the most important factors of all. Because people who have specific reasons for purpose to visit a new country, such as his or her job or going to school, can afford to make adjustments much faster than people who don't. Because in this case, adjustment is one of the efforts that newcomers make. And also the length of stay is related to. So people who visit a new country in short term, like a month, do not be pressured for adjustment, or even they don't need to make adjustments. Secondly, the cultural preparation, such as language, is also important because it can lessen the shock we will feel and make our life go smoothly. use of language is a great advantage to get used to a new culture, but language symbolizes the cultures too, and language is one of the major cultural differences. Thus, having the knowledge of language and the difference between cultures of our own and new culture could make us be able to cope with a problem. Thirdly, the personality. There is a main two effective personality to adjust ourselves in new culture. They are flexibility and tolerance. These are opposition of ethnocentrism. Ethnocentristic people may dwell on differences and they may consider something in their native culture is standard, and something or situations happen in new culture or new environment is all strange. So, before I mentioned when in Rome, do as the Romans do, I want to mention that people want to enter the new environments need to tolerance, need acceptance and flexibility to solve the problem in new culture by themselves. Okay, the support from family or friends is also important because it can lower our loneliness, especially in mental isolation period. So if we could find someone to tell our troubles, or we could make friends with people in new environments, that makes us feel confident, and also the relationship with people can lower our loneliness. And finally, people who have permanent job or incomes enough to maintain their level of life can afford to solve the problem, because especially in a different country, it is hard to have a frugal life. So it is one of the factors such as jobs or incomes. There are 5 possible factors which ease obstacles against cultural adjustment, which are this: motivation, cultural preparation, and personality, support and relationship, and finance. Additionally, I want to mention that there are various ways of adjustment, and it depends on each person which is most necessary for him or her. And of course, everyone has a different adjustment speed and method. So let's look at examples of people who experience cultural adjustment and think about the difference in each person. So please.
Okay, so from now on, I'm going to talk about some experiences which some people have in the new countries. In fact, we asked some questions to people who have been to abroad and who visited Japan. Okay, so firstly, I asked questions which was what made you excited at the beginning of your staying. In the textbook, this period is set as a honeymoon period, and following answers are both from Japanese and non-Japanese. And almost all people said that they got excited about the cultural differences between new country and their native countries. So let's look at the more detailed example. Example. Okay, some people said that got excited about the difference of foods and amount of the food. And some people said the view, like living in the big city around Tokyo, got them really excited. And others said that just feelings like being in another country made them really excited. And some people said that the number of characters like Kitty-chan or Ultraman got them excited as well. And However, some people don't really excited about this honeymoon period because they said that there is not so much differences between their countries and these countries, like high buildings or crowded places, etc. And moreover, one people said that she didn't have her honeymoon period because she said that she decided to go abroad to overcome the afraid of calling people. So she said that when she get to there, she just have nervous and she couldn't have her honeymoon period. And secondly, I asked the questions which was what kind of culture differences, what kind of culture shock did you get? And I'm going to introduce two stories here. One is about England. In supermarket, my friend finished buying all her stuff and she was in line to pay for them. And then the shop clerks scan their stuff, and then what the shop clerks did is throw it away her stuff. In Japan, when after shop clerks scan the stuff, they usually get them into the bag, but in England it's not. So she said that what she did is throwing away her stuff. And here is another example of another surprising story about in England shop. I heard that almost all shops are closed in 5 p.m. and even if it's London, that almost all shops closed at 7 p.m. I couldn't believe it at first. And another story is when she went to abroad. That Americans or England people or Australians are often hug and kisses each other, even they are boys and girls. But she knew about that because she can see it from the movie or TV, etc. Although she knew about that, but she needed to hug to guy that she didn't know well, or she got sometimes kisses on her cheek and she couldn't do anything and she was just surprised. So through this story I thought that what we see or what we hear about other cultures are a little different from what we really experience. Okay, so we are coming to the end of the presentation. So let me just summarize the main points. Firstly, we explained about what the culture adjustment cycle is and talked about the 5 stages in the cycle. And secondly, we talked about the factors which make an adjustment easier. And finally, we showed some example of experiences. And in conclusion, what we learned from the text and through interviews are how strongly our native culture influences when people get into the new environment. Like, for example, when people got great elation through experiences which never happened in the native countries, or when people got a culture shock or to be homesick, what happens there are all different experiences from the way people think it's natural in their native countries. In other words, they're comparing the new culture to their own culture with their own culture standard. So I believe that when we should keep our culture's value itself, and then we need to adjust and understand the new culture with big minds. Because I believe that when we get into the new environment, it is important to be open-minded. If we do so, I think that we could learn many valuable things from the new culture. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Okay, go ahead.
The person who went overseas to overcome being scared of foreign people.
Yeah.
Where is she from?
She's the Greek student actually.
Oh.
And she went to, I think Australia in 9 months, and she overcome the problem.
Oh.
anything else?
Sorry, I couldn't understand British clerks when the supper rate. What do you mean?
I mean, like, you know, when clerks scan the stuff to pay for them, to pay, and usually in Japanese people are after scanning it, they put them in the bag, right? But British people don't do it. Like, if after they scan the stuff, they kind of throw it away. And then, so she needed to, customer needed to put them in her bag. But during her collecting the stuff, next customer stuff are coming, so she said it mixed up with her. Yeah. Is there any questions? Okay, if it's not, that's our whole presentation. So thank you for listening.